Molweeeeeeni nonke emakhaya. Welcome to another episode of Urban Talks with me, Nkululeko Duda, and one of my best friends, Kolping, Mbumba. Yeah, bro, exactly. Kolping ngena funeka icatha funeka ibonakala. Isitamsam. Yo, exactly. Tanguja kuwe nangomso. Tanguja kuwe nangomso ndakalela. Yes. Ngimoja. Okay, conspect bana mkanje mfethu.
Welcome to Duda. This is Urban Talks. As I introduce the guest yet. As I introduce Damn. Yeah, damn. Today we have a very special guest. It's an honor to have her here in studio. An academic.
Yes.
Social activist. An entire first lady.
Yes. Hey.
Come on, put your head. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Cwaita Wenana in the studio today.
Yeah.
Go on, imagine an audience.
Yeah, we have an imaginary audience. Say hi to the audience.
Hi everyone. Oh wow, I can feel the love, man. And thank you for inviting me and for creating the space to be able to talk through these issues. So yeah, I'm happy to be here.
No, that's dope.
How's your day been going?
Yeah, it's been very busy, man.
It's been hectic.
Yeah, it has. Like I went to work obviously for like the first few hours, and then I went to visit families in Nyanga. So the backstory, should I?
Yes.
I don't want to like add this into this. Yeah. So the backstory behind me visiting families as for in Nyanga is because a few days ago, abantwana by4 went to play in a sandbank. So over the bridge by Nyanga. And then in the
So Europe, okay,
so like kids play there all the time. You see them movie in Texas and all that. So unfortunately, by sand, and like it literally collapsed on them, and then 4 of them died. And then one of them escaped, the 5th one. And asked for help. So basically, like we were trying to like go there and be like, we feel your pain, and we're trying to see what we can do to support, because it's tragic. And
I can imagine who's going to Zala in the next thing. Imagine, because we used to play like that in school.
And I think that was
a exam from something like that happening.
We just were lucky to survive.
That's sad. Rest in peace and condolences.
Rest in peace. I'm also thinking about if families are because obviously Unaza hopes about okay in future Umlana is gonna be this, and now they just snatched away. That's
Is there any support God for your family? Not like from like independent bodies such as yourself. I mean, from where the support should be coming from.
Government, government institutions.
Because I mean, like my views about government are really like public. Because I'm an activist, and I think that they should be.
I appreciate that about you. Yeah, actually, the openness.
Yeah. So, like, I anticipated or predicted that like there's not going to be support for the families, and the sister one was like, no, they went on national television and said, we will help bury Abandon Rifle. We will support these families with counseling and all of that. So, like, obviously, quite like it's going to happen. Like, everyone I have lost their lives. When I went today, the film was like, it's been days, haven't received any sort of support, counseling at half money at all, or even the little children haven't gotten counseling. And basically they want to leave and go and bury their children a few days from now.
Still some time,
So they're like, we've lost hope.
Ask
our contact about anything concrete, and we need help. If you
this is after official people from
after
they went on TV
Yeah.
and said we are gonna blah 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 assist the family in blah blah ways.
Yeah.
So who are these people? Like say can name and shame.
Yeah. So I mean, everyone knows like Nqabayethu is the mayor. So he went in there on national television and he said he's gonna help support buried families. Department of Social Work came in and said they'll help with counseling. Nothing like that has happened. And the families wait, and they've said to us, you know what, guys, if you can give the support, arrange because
something, anything.
We're gonna leave, and we need to have this thing because the man buy a breaker.
So ke ngoku namhlanje like esisiphande benisenza like benisenza ntoni sure.
So we went there to show support in terms of like just saying siyavana nani like because nani sihlala apha ePhilippine that could have been easily been like my nephew.
That can easily be anyone or any kid you know because anyone with the worst part is on top of the trauma that you experience yoba ibe ngathi kudlalwa ngenhlungu yenu ke ngorhulumente ubone.
We used to that though. But the additional support of like, because for black people takes a lot of money. It's expensive. So we were there to try and offer some financial support because we.
Side note, I want us to talk about that.
But now, yes, like interesting than
I want us to discuss funerals. The ceremony of funerals. To black people, not black.
But as you know, I feel like since like the corona and COVID,
it's not.
It's so simple these days, bro. It's so simple.
Straight to the point. 2 hours.
I feel like funerals should always be like that, bro.
I feel like it was like that. Now okay, as like amaxesha ehamba ne. Kwafika Western cultures yabona, and then kwakho la way yofuna to impress each other. Because I remember like in the Eastern Cape when I was going to bury my mom, like they were like, okay, no, we must have into ezithile bazothina abantu. La syndrome like
that's the one.
So generations of black people in South Africa have died.
Yo, okay, you're
so before we go any further, because we have a senior questions like related to your activism work.
Sure.
But the village somewhere about originally.
Yeah.
I was like, I want nothing on Kajani, but in your only 12 years ago.
You, I the sheep
live, guys.
Pause. Kanizomthatha. Kumlekhaya nangu khona simfoneni. Nangu.
So go now Kajani is one.
Guys, first of all, you did your digging.
Yes, we did.
So we do.
I didn't know
we have a man out here.
Yeah. So I am from Kajani, so Mkaya. Because you can't get Abakaya.
No. King Abakaya, no. Wow, okay,
don't worry, we connect on other things.
I know. That's why I'm so chill.
It's coming. So I'm from Kajani to the Great Place. I did my primary school there. So I went to school in Chingeni. But then you know the challenges, again, the struggles that exist in the Eastern Cape when it comes to studying. So because in high school you have to go like 2 hours to get to the high school, and it wasn't safe because in rule,
Milam,
all of that. So I decided to come.
Yeah, but I never experienced any of that. Yes, I guess I was privileged.
Okay. That's why you didn't experience any of that.
Boy, that's why
you know.
I can admit, but I've been privileged in a way.
Nah, that's not privilege, bro. Yes, look, I don't know what it is.
It's
something. It's not privilege.
Let's not play Oppression Olympics.
Okay, Exactly.
So that's basically where I got my first idea of what a school is, which is a mud school and had very little space and not a conducive space to learning and teaching. And then I was like my family was like, we need to go to the Western Cape for better access to education.
Sure.
So, yeah.
So you also from the high school,
but yeah.
And that's where we got to Philippines.
Yeah.
How was this
seriously? Wait.
Got great. Oh wow, I can't remember. But in primary, but like the later grades in primary.
Like grade 7.
Grade 5.
Okay. No, I was gonna say, because I remember you back in the day, high school, primary, yabo. So I was basically confused. I was like, no, Chwaita, so I
did Kulu. You know the things.
Yeah. And what those kind of classes are Eastern Gate. Can even be under a tree, my nigga. And this is the class.
It's not even funny, guys.
No, it's not. No, it's not funny, but unfortunately, it's a reality.
But we love to keep from crying.
Yeah, that's true.
Imagine my business sleek.
Yeah, that's all fun. That's all fun.
Depression,
yeah, but I went to Molweeeeeeni for the better 3 years of primary school.
Yeah.
And then high school, I went to Inzeke.
Notorious.
Yeah. Notorious. It's one of the best to me. Ape Philippi. Because we have what? I don't care, I'll mention their names. We have Isnetemba, Epinya High School is now Philippi High. We have Kayak and Fit. We have Philippi High. We have Mandela.
Yeah.
We have Incidents as well. Out of the 4, bro. Out of the 4. But in my opinion, that's like a school to me.
Yeah.
Like out of the 4.
But it's
you used to visit them.
You come check us out.
Come on, guys. Like, was it? But anyways, I was saying about like from what I observed, even like results, like school, like in Sarah, I could say to me, it's one of the best, because even
I think Sopo is number 1.
No?
It's Sopo.
I could say Philippi.
It's not really
unless by our
okay,
I see.
So you grow up Kokachane and you go through that experience as your first experience of education.
Yep.
And you move to Philippi in Cape Town, and then you go through the public school system. I wanna like try and put together this time like a timeline of events, and then you to explain how did that sort of propel you towards a passion of education, and that's actually the next thing that I want to talk about. How did that shape what you came to do in life later on? Because it's like the harshest experiences. It could be a normal upbringing, because you know what it's like, or to that's normal, but like to what things are supposed to be like, that's like the furthest thing from a normal. So that's why losers or experiences assistant in professional.
Definitely, that's a very good question. And an important one.
Yes, Danny Poinsley.
Because so in my experience in Nigeria, several provinces, but when I got to the Western Cape thinking, like it's gonna be so much better.
It's Cape Town.
You guys are always disappointed because I can't
even speak English.
I'm
actually gonna be surrounded like all of those ideas we have as a child about like, what the Western Cape was represent for. And when I got here, the school I went to struggled a lot, like with army class was too big, like you couldn't understand certain things because we said back and basically. And I remember in high school, I think I was in grade 10, when I did a project called Rescue for Nature. So we entered a competition where it was like looking at what are innovative ideas in Cape Town from high school learners, and then we actually came top 5, and we won some money to start a garden up here in Swansea. And so for me, that was a moment of saying, hey, you don't have to be rich, you don't have to be old, you don't have to be white, you don't have to be anything to make a difference. And that's sort of like where activism was started to be activated in my mind. But obviously, like going to varsity solidified. And I went in a time when it was like 2014, 2015, 2016, where like business was happening.
I remember that time. I was a journalist working for Bush Radio at that time. That was heavy, bro.
Wow. Did you not see me there?
I don't know. Probably, I don't know, because I covered a few of them, Belleville and the CPT. I covered a few.
It was real. It was real. I put bullshit cameras. Yo, say we're barricaded, bruh, like love bomb except for
that's what I pressed.
Yo, okay.
That's
cool,
I need like 9 days with a health professional to talk through what Fismus for was for me and Rosemas for and I think for me that was a political
Rosemas
it was and then
I gave birth to it.
When the fee hikes. But I think that was like my moment of like politically awakening.
Okay.
And questioning a lot of what was happening. Not because the university, because I was at UCT at the time. So not because of what the university was teaching me, but because I was hearing and understanding my own pain and relating to Abanya Bandu, and I was like, we need to do something. And so like my ideas and the content that I have about my politics was sort of given like time and space in that period. And when I left the higher education system, I was looking for something that's close to my like heart and what I think means the most change, my passion basically. And I started with like an NGO, like after school programs, and that was really good because I was supporting a whole loads of children.
I saw somewhere you were part of SIAP from high
yes,
school.
That's SIAP. That was my first
cool.
intern position. Like
SIAP for those of us who don't know.
Just briefly.
So it's a South African education project. It basically houses a lot of projects that speak to like school projects, after school programs.
SAEP.
Yes. People call it SAEP.
Okay, sure.
But that was my first experience of like trying to help matriculants. So I was heading the careers and communities department, where I was trying to help high school learners who didn't get to university, but they were in a gap year. So I was trying to help them figure out what they like, their passion, but also like matching them with what they could do and explore that. And then like a lot of them were just not realizing their like potential, right? Because matric certificate also is the first thing that they look at varsity, right? And if you fail, then it's hard for you to.
Then if that looks bad,
So we will also encourage them to like upgrade their subject.
Sure.
And then like I also realized I really enjoyed helping and doing one-on-ones with all of them and like inspiring them with all of the options that are out there, because sometimes the options that's kind of But I also realized after that I want to go to the root of the problem. Like I don't want to be actually helping the people who are systematically excluded. I wanted to go to the system and say you need to research. I needed to go to the structure. But also
not just deal with the victim
with the effects of I was like, this is really important work. I still think it's important work to support Abantwana who are systematically kicked out, which is the majority. But I actually want to fight the system. And because also I had like a political awakening at UCT with Fismus and Rosemas and outsourcing, I decided like I wanted to look for organizations that were organizing, doing like political activist work.
Structure,
and looking at the structure of inequality. So I found equal education. Actually, equal education found me, right?
Tell us about that story.
Actually, that was gonna be my next question.
That
was my next question.
Because like I read briefly about like the work that equal education does and the work that you guys have been doing during the lockdown with the public schooling system and like its state right now. Not like the uncertainty in opening. I think it's been postponed 3 times now already. So I want like Uvulo is gone. Public schools, yes.
And also Mamela, before we pay why is it that private schools are able earlier? Because I should think about the public schools who should be getting preferential treatment.
Because they're owned by boy people.
I'll give you the long answer to it, which is the short answer he gave. But basically, like, South Africa inherited a very unequal education system from the apartheid regime. So the Ubuntu, like separating races and giving like black people like education that's just like even below, like I don't even have the English for it.
Education basically.
But equality and all of that was just like
equality.
It was shit.
Basically. Now we can honest.
So that didn't change with our 1994 post update democracy.
Flag national anthem.
Everything else stayed the same, if not worse, right? Because the state of public education is so bad that like we still have schools that are made of mud schools. We still have schools that have plain pit latrines. So if plain pit latrines, for anyone who doesn't know, it's like a toilet.
Do you remember the situation in Limpopo with Lamda?
Drowning.
Yes.
And Eastern Cape.
Damn.
What drown?
Yeah, bro. Like drowned inside.
Okay.
Drowned.
It's fucked up.
My dog.
Bro, you know what's more fucked up? Like, I wanna make a joke about that way, but I feel like I'm insensitive.
Tread carefully, we're listening.
Never mind.
We'll tell you fuck you. Go ahead.
I will.
Maybe after 20 years.
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
Coming from a comedian way too soon.
Okay. It's time for this for men. Okay, sure. Okay,
yeah, so I was talking about the state of public education, right? Like it's undignified in terms of like infrastructure is improper. Like schools that are made of asbestos is zinky. You can't teach. There's no conducive learning and teaching spaces, but also pet little trees where like abandoned are literally drowning and dying in post-apocalyptic. And you also have schools that are unsafe, like where schools are being broken in the Western Cape. Schools are overcrowded. Like the basis of societies that we should be learning. Like education is our key, most important one, because everything comes out of that. Like artists comes out of education. Health. Everything comes out of that, but we haven't covered that basis. So it's still unequal. And what we've been saying as Equal Education is that in the times of a pandemic or COVID, the inequality has worsened. Because it meant schools were able to safely open. Who have everything they have in place can open as they want. Because the DBE is saying they can open, they have nothing to do with private schools. And any public schools have to just sit and watch on the sidelines. Like Abantwana were in public schools when the private schools opened 2 weeks before, we're watching, going back to school pictures.
So let me get this straight. The conversation is, if you understand actually, is that izikolo that have the infrastructure in place, that have the sort of indlela zo observe these regulations and protocols and accommodate students can open. But izikolo ezingenazo in places or measures azikwazi uvula.
As if it's there for
coincidentally, ezizikolo zingakwazi uba nazo ezi measures in place zingakwazi novula zezi zikahulumende who puts the measures in place,
which is why the inequality game keeps on expanding.
Isn't that a mind-blowing fact?
It's fucked up, but like the government way to like actually allows as we guys. Like to be honest, it's really fucked up because like you're not gonna be able to depend only on like the children of the wealthy, because like from my personal experience, like going into a working environment. Even though they went to private schools or whatever, most of the time, by they end up useless. You have to teach them when coming from like as background where you had to struggle for university, we had to fight for a position as teacher that you're at in life. I feel like government should invest more into public schools.
It's been doing the opposite, can I say that?
Ne.
It's been so in the times of COVID, but even before that. There was funds that were being taken away from the basic education budget. And in the times of COVID, Utito went and said, you know what, we need to take money away from
Please tell us more about that, because I saw your interview with IOL about that. Can you tell us more about it? You were picketing.
Yep.
Background, because something I saw on YouTube, research.
I hope you was a question.
No stress. So what happened is that like over the years, as Equal Education has been doing research and activism around budget advocacy, right? it's been also seen that there's been deprioritization when it comes to budget in public schools. So it means by increase, by decrease, or by in the same position. But in the times of COVID, it's actually been taking away money, right? Because they decided, okay, because of each department is front line. The front line means as in fighting COVID. So our police have got a lot of money.
Sure.
Got a lot of money. Health apparently.
How is that coming from the education budget though?
But they were like, because you're not necessarily us to fight COVID, so taking money.
But if you see the budget education.
By fagapa.
Yeah, and then
so
what fucked up world does that make sense in? Like, how do you explain that?
South African politicians causing Dabuza more way out 500 billion again.
Exactly.
Welcome to South Africa.
Yeah.
What the hell?
So they took money and they continue to take money, but I want to say that this is not just in the education sector. The public social services sector has been facing cuts to the budget. The thing called austerity, where investments in social good is not being put on and bias decrease. That's what's happening in South Africa, and a lot of social services are not able to operate. They're not giving building material because I could budget for it. So they're cutting a lot of money with social services. It's not just the education.
Damn. So that's actually the next question I sort of want to segue into. Background. There's a community up in Philippines, informal settlements community called the Graveyard Pond. Enyunyweni. It's known as Enyunyweni because so there was a fire, there was a tragic fire that broke out. It's an informal settlement. So it affected over 100 houses and a lot of people were displaced. With literally homeless. So Chwaita and a couple of other activists were among the first people to respond to that, and I'm talking about being on scene, being on the scene. So I'd like you to expand on that, and also briefly expand about the kind of assistance, because you were there, the kind of assistance and how government dealt with you guys as independent bodies assisting the community and how they dealt with the community.
Hey, this thing happened a few months ago. So
I think 12th of January.
Yeah.
No, it was
2 months ago. It was a month ago.
It was a month ago. It was a month ago.
Yeah, guys.
It's a recovery. It's a recovery to this day.
I love to keep on crying. This is not me being sensitive. But so what happened was we got a call. So I got a call saying, there's been fire in Mbumba, because I'm part of Philippine. So Philippine is just a group of young people who have decided they want to support Philippine during this tough time. Whether it's asking things on social media.
You guys have been doing amazing work.
Yeah. Shout out to Philippine.
I know a bit about what you guys do. You guys have been doing amazing.
These guys are amazing. Don't mind me, I'm just charging you. That's all, guys. Otherwise. It's happening.
So in Nyunyu basically a fire broke out and destroyed 80 houses and then affected more than 300 people because
households.
So Philippine was called to respond to that, and on the first day I remember people had nowhere to go, nothing to eat, and it was 5 more. And we didn't have a plan, and literally no one was responding and saying this is the kind of plan we have, and people were looking at us what are you guys going to do?
That's not
plan because
that's what I was going to get into, because it's not like me authority.
No. And we just went there to listen and take details, but people were so and they were obviously community activists who are part of Philippine.
Yes. The Philippine Center team.
Those comrades came in and said, let's think of something tonight. We can't just let Tabantu Bamaki. And it's funny because we went to the streets up with Kukimoto in front of the branch.
No wonder you can tell them
Yeah, but we were literally going there and saying, sneaky man. So fuck up, you know? That's the only thing we had that night. And trust me, we got 250 something to buy bread.
Yeah.
And fusion.
Yeah. That's something, bro.
Eating that night. No, actually, other people came. Like we call other comrades from Mikalichi who came also added to that. And people had Zonga in French, Balala. Then we were like, we'll think tomorrow what to do.
And then in terms of
it was insane. Like, yeah, like how did this become our problem? Because obviously,
and then in response, the department suppose is responding.
So the whole night they were telling us someone is coming from disaster. And the next day, and the next day, and the next day. I honestly don't know. Because they were supposed to actually respond, the first respondents, but also give materials so that the man can rebuild their homes.
Again, which departments are these?
This is like disaster management.
Social development.
I actually have 2 lives. When I expose myself.
Yeah, no. Do it.
I have.
The thing is, this concerns people we know. We know people who live there, literally.
And just known about say like they might be living upper class, but they might be not ignorant, but about they don't necessarily pay attention to them. Now, if there's a way to educate.
Yeah.
This is a platform.
So I was saying earlier that the social services are receiving a cut. And like basically our government is trying to support businesses like SAA, putting money into their school. And anything that has to do with people, it's kind of like secondary if it's not paid. That's even a thing. Yeah, so basically they just didn't respond. Give all the materials as far as I know. Like they didn't help Abantu to rebuild their homes. I think Abantu literally, like they asked for abanye abantu to help them with the maziki, but also bathatha ezibechile and
exactly like in the face of that road, main road you can see izinto rebuilt ngala chile.
And so the risky live was that I called the human settlement minister. And what I did
Who's that? What's his name?
I don't know.
What's his name?
Malusi boy.
Yeah.
Malusi
boy.
Malusi.
So what I did was actually I called them on live, and even like calling them on live Facebook, but calling them on my phone, and then like I want to show people.
I didn't see that. I see your lives. I didn't see that.
I didn't
see that.
I don't know what I was busy with.
What do you think?
But no, guys.
They were like, are you good budget? Good 20. Like there's no more budget. Like they have to rebuild their own homes.
Yeah.
He said that to me live.
You realize about
I know JP Smith as well. Who works in disaster also.
Yeah.
He was like,
government doesn't give a fuck about the people, yes. And the thing is, yes, my man, like he claiming about the government, I think since January, election year mostly now. It's is when Mbumba are visible, and etc. They closing up potholes. They because it's time bakhatha abantu yabo
like people lockdown people
because during the lockdown legit during the lockdown
as Qwaita say like the government way to chooses to support the private sector and even the private sector government way chooses to support like as companies that are struggling. Bomba it's a black hole whereas kukho abantu genuinely like bayalamba they're suffering.
Exactly. Bro, everybody knows SAA was supposed to shut down 15 years ago. We know this thing.
We
know this. All prasa, you know, is prasa.
How is prasa still like a living organism
Okay,
of
cool.
the state?
Okay, cool. It's still a living organism. How is it that we are putting more money in this thing?
But also taking from basic education, from health.
Yeah. That's why it doesn't make sense.
That's crazy.
Okay, another segue in the Qwaita,
okay.
like it wasn't in our but I heard something about here Moscow kiwa ingini like ikasi pa kase sporwin after you didn't know
downtown.
Yeah, downtown. Yes, downtown. Yeah. But now apparently like Uprasa wants to get things going again.
Where? At downtown.
At downtown.
Somebody's
they received Ilenduka apparently letters from Uprasa about they have to move and things like that.
At downtown.
Bro.
That's what
That's
I'm
been years
saying.
also people have been staying here.
Yeah, most man. How long has Prasa not been operating? Yes, done. But now the thing is like
So they want to erect about
yeah, but like my question is removal even possible or is it even legal now because Abandon have been there?
Nah, legal for sure. Sorry.
It's not legal. Like if you stay in the house, I think for 48 hours, then it's your house.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it 48 hours?
48?
I think it's 48 hours.
Yeah, that
or
seems
72,
a bit too
but
soon.
it's a couple of hours.
2020, as we know it, has been a year city filled with a lot of tragedy, a lot of pain. Ubuhlungu. Uyazithola? Into ezikhuhlayo ubona ba ikhuhlifele ivele inyama lengaphansi.
The emotional, just talking about the 2020. Continue.
Now,
Light a blunt.
My man, especially ke ngoko. Especially for gender-based violence. Especially ke ngoko. Living where we living. Philip, Cape Town in general.
And we know the stories.
We know.
The stories.
I think maybe end of last year or beginning of 2020, somewhere around there. I'm not sure about the timeline.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to Amash. And then unomvuzo atoli ne
rest in peace.
Ngane behlala lapha ke lowana yazi like I was once a facilitator kuyo kwenye art program esasiyenza running bro. Yabo. And as the fact up thing is like a week before like la way yakenzeke ne I was actually talking to her. Yabo. I'm like you got a lot of potential but like right now we're not doing anything.
So she was involved in arts.
Yeah, when she was young, like when she was in high school, but I don't know what happened after that. Yeah, well, so okay, yeah, so you've been very instrumental and important to vocalizer. Yeah, to vocalizer. Yonke like the way about social justice and then bringing attention to these cases.
Yes.
So when I know it's not easy. I know, but can you tell us like in detail about this aspect of Ispansa?
And also in cases that you've been a part of.
Maybe even that were not made public, you see?
Yeah.
And also like extend your involvement because Cwaita ubalulekile umsebenzi owenzayo lakubona nje uthetha nje nyani ubalulekile umsebenzi owenzayo and andimbono omnye umuntu owenza to the extent owenza ngayo
like
not just a Philip yabo but like in terms of like the general Cape Town community in terms of abantu aba as aware and as hands on as she is in social justice bro you don't see that enough you don't see that enough
passion bro.
No,
passionate. No, I'm not paying them sales. Just so people know.
No, you guys was and then the extend your involvement in these kind of cases.
So it's through the Philippine work maybe. It's nothing like magical. But when we realized like the food issue, we were giving out parcels, but there were also crises that were happening. So basically, I want to say before I go to these cases is that GBV has always existed.
That's true.
It's not the first time that we hear of someone dying and being killed by a significant other, not a stranger danger kind of thing. When they told us in high school, but someone who doesn't know you.
But don't speak to strangers.
Yeah. So it's always been like a case, and it's basically the makeup of South Africa as well. We are the highest country, one of the highest countries, I think top 5, where like violence against women and children is like at its highest. So we are facing a serious global problem. But anyway, to come a Filipino, when Omahle was found dead, naked, in that next to the wetland, I think what made it different, what made it more famous than the others that we know of, is because the nakedness and the public way in which she was murdered and put to the street. It was too, like, everyone can see Bana, like, in the land.
It was an embarrassment to society.
And it was like so clear to everyone. Naked, and no one wants to be naked when they're dead or elsewhere, like in public. And so it being man, and because there was a picture, I don't know who took the picture, but it was not right, guys. Like, I'm actually trended because there was a picture circulating of her naked. I think that's why it actually made news, because when Isinus, they have to make news, things are sensational. They're worse, they're like to know.
But like, are we that desensitized to extend your mouth?
Exactly, that we need to make people naked.
Jesus.
Like, take pictures.
I didn't see the picture. I saw, like, I was following the story. I
think part of the reason why it trended was because of that picture. But anyway, people find her dead and naked next to that wetland. And the immediate thing for Philippine was obviously like food, but we were like, now this is the crisis. And majority of the people in the Philippine were women. And because Isintu doesn't say good as our fast, but we also the first ones to respond to most of the issues in our communities. Facts, right? And we were like, we need to go. We need to go to Lando. And so the first thing was to actually go and be with the community. Not about South Africa, see distance, but whatever they're doing, say
immerse yourself.
But it's also not California, right? So, but the thing that we were doing, we're bringing resources to it. So if they needed a mask, because it was time of COVID and lockdown, if they needed water, like orange juice, whatever thing.
Just like resources.
We literally had to provide resources, but also 90 because we know about the next day it could be me, right? It's not safe for everyone. So we responded to that, but also we went to like court with them, so like activist justice work, where we were like, this nigga needs to be arrested. I don't even know what.
Definitely.
That's what
he's a nigga.
So we went in court and we were calling for justice for Wamahle. And then maybe a couple of months later, Azola happened. But again, she was dumped in like a rubbish.
It's a container, bro. Like it's a tip. It's a container as a tip.
Yeah. So it was disgusting, man. It was so wrong in so many ways. And then obviously in Nepal, we were trying to support the resources, trying to get money, help with funerals and all of that. And then after we had gone through so much pain in 2020, we were like, okay, how do we revisit the sites of pain? And bring something that at least brings some sort of comfort for us. So on the Heritage Day, we went back to those sites of pain for us. So which is Landau that Unomvus was found. We painted Stop GBV and
I saw.
That's powerful.
And then we went to the site next to where Amahle was found, and we also painted Maanamba, we want justice for victims. And then we went to a school. So it was
powerful.
3 different paintings that were happening. And I think to highlight London is that as our paintings were 3 happened because people wanted them to happen. Literally, we created a group and said, who can bring paint? Who can bring their hand work?
Who can
bring maybe food for the day so that we can be sustained, as we do this one? Who can bring pamphlets to raise awareness? And about young people from South Africa, FEB, people were like, I can come. Literally,
shout out to you, niggas. Shout out to you.
They were like,
shout out because you're representing.
And then guys, and they were painting and stuff. The beautiful thing about that moment was it was a deep moment of like healing and collective trauma and realizing that. But even the families came. So that was really beautiful to see.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah, it was really beautiful to see Mama.
And I'd imagine for them, for the family as well.
Yeah, Mama, I think I told you, Mama wrote, "We love you," on the walls.
We were communicating with her because in the beginning we thought with together with I was working closely with the Sia Katala Youth Foundation back at the time, project here, Sub Council 13. So we initially thought she was raped because of the nature of the situation and how she was found and everything. And then we became aware of but there was no help, there was no assistance for your family. To the extent like they reached out to say there's no plan. There's no real plan.
We don't know what to do, what's happening.
I remember I was working with Siska
Sure.
Put together a poster, we put it online, and you just like put it out as much as we can, share it to as many platforms as we can. Then the following day, she got a couple of calls. I think members of parliament were here, AFF members were here. But then, what did it translate to? It's easy to be in a press conference or like to be in an interview and say,
but what
we will and all of that, but it doesn't translate to anything.
Political parties are trying to buy clout with it.
Yeah.
That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to buy face.
And I honestly don't think I've gone to the point where I don't put my hope in them. Like,
good. That's dope.
That's
good.
I advise that.
What I do want to say to young people who are listening, is that you are the plan. It's basically
say that again. You'll say
no plan, guys. Like literally, when COVID hit us, we're like, "Sister, what's the It's Philippines. Because we need a zethu," and they're like,
they don't know either.
And when this thing happened, we're like, "What are we gonna do? Like, we need to respond to this family." And they were like, no. Like every time we go to our leaders, they're like, "It's not plan, figure it out." So young people who are like listening to this, like it's really up to you. If you see there's a
Mamele abo kule bethetha Qwaita ni khona beke wayithetha na earlier before ngoba bethetha about winning sorry ndilibele igama layo ne but now ufumana la mali for igadi emsebenziswana ne uthe Qwaita she realized phana ba you don't have to be rich, you don't have to be white, you don't have to ba ufunde in whatever place,
Ivy League school.
You have to make a plan for yourself. And then if we always depend on the government,
I say that.
Solo
you know what I want to do?
I'm just adding on what you said.
You know what I want to do?
Solo sikhala.
You know what I want to do? I'm going to do like a bubble. Of that clip which is
because I'm going to say there.
I'll bring it back. And I love.
It's not that it's wrong to ask the government to be accountable.
No, it's not.
But you must do that work in conjunction with.
Yes. Even balance. I was gonna say, what we are discussing right now, yenza ndifune ingase reflect on the nature of relationships. Okanye mandithi umjono.
Wow. How did that translate?
No, because here's the thing. We're talking about slap.
The transition.
We arrived. No, somehow we are there. Yes,
I got you.
Please explain.
We were discussing innocent women who were murdered brutally, not by strangers. But by people they loved and trusted, bro. By people they reported. You know how by people they do that too. Like making examples. They were victimized by those people. That's why I'm taking this into a traditional relationship.
Valentine's this weekend.
We'll probably publish this like way after Valentine's, but we shot it on the 13th. Because Valentine's tomorrow. So the question is starting and analyzing these kind of cases. and then looking into the nature of umjolo ekasi. I need the nature of umjolo, going deep into it, into umhlaliswano. It's usually abantu bayadibana estratweni phekasi okanye bawenane bajole
however they develop,
and then however and then noba yeyiphi technique, and then babekule relationship babekule relationship amanetaka ugirl ne aye kumjita. After a while abahlala apha, and then abe ngumhlali walapha kule ndlu, and then kuhlaliswana and then these situations.
Is that how you explaining in your comedy book?
No, but ukubona, I'm trying to paint a mental picture. Yenzeka ngolo hlobo. And then usually this is where these abusive environment and techniques build up consistently. So I wanted to ask, do you think the nature of indlela yothandana, especially eKapa, encourages mentality to be oppressive towards women emajidini?
Yeah.
That's where my question
especially
is.
eKapa.
Yeah, especially Kapa, bro. Especially
I'm gonna need you to expand.
Here's why I'm saying before period. So here's why I'm saying, bro. Uyinene wabulawe Kapa. Amahle wabulawe Kapa.
But these are known cases.
Unomvuzo wabulawe Kapa. Now here's where it gets fucked up. Over 2,000 other women babulawe Kapa in relationships ezazisenzeka. Ezinye cases zange ziyareportwa ngokuthi ifamily yayo ngcaba umuntu okanye umjita woyikwa because uyaziba usisikoli. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to I'm not saying literally 2,000 cases, painting a mental picture.
But it's a South African problem.
So ubone, yes, but I'm trying to specify it. I'm trying to specify it to thina yabo ulungiselele ingabikho generalized input yethu in the subject yabo. Do you think it contributes in the overall treatment and oppressive nature of men towards women?
Yeah, and I mean, I think I'd want to reverse it and say men should answer that. But I'll do the work of answering.
I apologize for putting that on you.
No, yeah, I'm glad that you understand.
I apologize.
But
I just understood it as see it. It just made sense to me.
No, it's okay. So I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna be. I am gonna be specific, but I think it's a broader issue. And when I said like this country is top 5, I mean it's top 5 in the like world where women and children are being abused. And I want to say, Bana, this thing, so I think like rape isn't about sex. It's about like power. And negotiating power. And so mostly it happens, the abuse of sexual violence and all of that, it happens when someone has power over someone. And usually that gender is men. Because of like society and how men are higher ranked than women. I hope people can understand that. But anyway, that's why it happens. And mostly like in relationships, not just in relationships, but in homes, in society, men are like the providers, leaders, and all that.
Breadwinners.
And so often in relationships you have to negotiate on. But actually, bothing, we are team. You are not the one.
I can fuck with that.
You are not controlling me. You do not possess me. You do not own me.
I'm not your property.
Nyanga. So often that's the narrative, or that's the like psychology in men, where they feel like they have to assert themselves. Because masculinity or patriarchy says and you need to get your way. So if a man and you don't want, so I have to listen to you kind of thing.
Compromise.
So relationships for me have always been like that. Like I have never, like we were actually thinking about Valentine's, me and other like a fellow Philippe Ansen person who is like
trying to think of healthy black relationships.
Yeah, and if they even exist.
Do they?
They do though.
Because
do they?
They do.
Do they?
They do.
Do they? Yeah.
Do you know one black healthy relationship?
Yeah, I think I know like a couple, you see, the thing is, us, we take our problems and we bring them into our relationships. And you're supposed to do that, but most people take their past into relationships without letting go. That's what makes a relationship toxic.
I hear you. I don't want us to digress. Chwaita was telling us about the effects of masculinity and how it leads men into believing that being oppressive towards their woman is what we should be doing. That's okay. And then I apologize for putting that question on her. Okay. But the perspective she was like giving was dope.
Okay. Before that though, I just get asked before like I say, since we said our relationship, Chwaita say, is there Mr. Cwaita Wenana?
Oh no!
Yeah, I just went there right now. Right now. We are having honest conversations, Eben talks. Eben is a fancy word for a kasi. Honest.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, must be real.
So, black healthy relationships.
Yes. Black healthy relationships.
Okay. I'm still waiting for my answer.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Okay.
But I think this is more important than my love life.
Let's go.
Yeah, man, I basically think like black people are like in trauma, right? Colonialism, I joke. It happened here. We were under white people.
Yeah.
And then apartheid happened to us in South Africa, and it was deep trauma. Like we were excluded financially, socially, politically, in every way. So obviously that has an effect on people. And obviously that effect I call just in the public life. It's also in like the private life and how you do it, but also how society is organized. Having men being the ones being allowed to
providing
economic participation. Like women were only able to like, I don't know, join economic activity like later than men, much later than men, very recently. So I think there's a long way to go in terms of adjusting, like not adjusting, but like understanding that patriarchy is violent, and the fact that like you should see a man as human before you see them as like a female or a woman who's weaker, and we should just like do the work. Basically, men, I think, must do the work of understanding their position in society, because a lot of the misconceptions understand comes from like not understanding the fact that like problematic, violent, because of A and B. So they need to do the work of unpacking how society privileges them from like childhood. Be in the kitchen. Don't talk back. It's not nice on a girl. So those things that privilege, and those things carry out into adulthood. So as Nyanga, and that's not nice because we are equal beings, and not only like in society but in relationships.
So my man, I saw an interesting quote I think it was on YouTube or on Facebook somewhere. In a relationship, yes, we have to be equal, but then like gender rules, like honest but it like say men and it was a quote. These are not my beliefs. It was a quote I saw online. Okay.
What was the quote?
There's a lot of disclaimer, but you know, like say gender rules are there for a reason. It by say man was created, not that say woman. I mean, woman was created, not that say that they can do everything men can. That they can do everything men can't. And even though it's a bit patriarchal, but I thought it was profound because it's true. Like amateur women in general, they can do like most of the things we can. But in majority, like Tina, as amateur, we will never be able. yabo ba masikwazi uzenza uyazithola
That's what I think. I think what you're saying, the only thing missing is a subjective perspective in it. Because now how the quote sounds now, the quote sounds like it's trying to justify and also make sense of the fact that the things that we can't do them because women can do them. That's what it sounds like in the quote. But like what the quote in its profoundness and how you're understanding it, it's implying that the things that we don't have the power to do, the things that we don't have the might to do, like giving birth, the shit that we don't have the natural, the thing that we can, like the shit that we like realistically cannot do, like raising kids with love and tenderness.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I want you to see my point, Guja, in that. I want you to see my point in that. On this set, there are 3 men on this set. How many of the 3 men on this set grew up with their fathers present? I'll wait. My hand is not up because I didn't. Do you see my point?
Gatti can say.
Do you see where I'm going? Do you see where I'm going?
God damn, he says that.
Subjective perspective.
Can I say something? Can I come in on gender?
Subjective perspective.
Gender is socially constructed, which means it doesn't live in our biology. It's constructed. A woman needs to do this because it's a woman. You need to cook. It's something that's associated with women. It's not something that intrinsically exists. Like naturally. Like for instance, what's it? Giving birth. Some women can't give birth. Some women don't want to give birth. And if value should not be
determined
by their vaginas.
Okay. But Tina, if you see understand, it's a place. It comes from like we come from a place of power. Like we can't give birth. Because they can. No, they can give birth. They can do the birth thing. Like Tina said, it's from an egotistical kind of thing.
And it's undermined.
Yeah, we are undermining. That's the word I'm going for. Like say undermining at night, it's a secondary function. Man. No, also, they can give birth.
But also capitalism supports that. Like for instance, the housework that Umama Wam does isn't paid. The housework that like women do in general isn't paid because it's a supporter. The men who bring the wage. Kanti, the women who are at work at home are helping you reproduce and be able to give to the system.
But in that instance,
but in
Mamela, please. In that instance,
this is interesting.
The thing is, like we tell about absent fathers, like if fathers.
That wasn't even my point.
Okay, no, but okay. Listen to what I'm saying. There are families, like the dad works, the mom handles all the housework. He has told ndiyaklawe healthy black relationships. He has told lamsebenzi wenziwa la mama, it must not be looked down upon. And also the woman isn't paid, but at the end of the day, when the man comes back home, what I've heard and how it goes, how it goes. Uzawuyikhupha umholo wakhe anike umama. Uyazithola? Umama who's going to be in charge of everything. So umama is CEO, Joe.
No, it's basically affirming what patriarchy does. It says men are the providers. So and that's what we say.
But no, Mamela.
Guys, it's not.
Isn't this a partnership?
No, but it's in a lower position for women, right?
Do you see what she means? Cwaita is saying even Londo yozana isalary. Even Londo yozana isalary endlini ufika umnika umama and uyayikhongozela. Ufuna Londo assetha your partner.
It feels good. It feels good that I can give you some of my salary.
And like you are responsible.
And then I am the one who provided. Don't forget that.
No.
I'm not saying it's a bad.
I know what you mean.
I'm saying it's a norm, bruh. It's a norm, and I'm saying it's a norm that's not correct, right? We should relook at that norm because like it reinforces what patriarchy like wants us to think, like that men are the ones who are providing, and fuck all, you know, we have to be on their knees, giving them manipulating.
Which then gives way.
If okay,
you must not like
so
give them this thing, but also because things has changed.
Yeah.
Women have entered the workspace.
Dominated.
Even then,
the disadvantages they work under.
But even then, they are still expected to cook. The one that cooks. Like in our relationships, men expect us to cook for them.
To say, oh, we come on, and then come
back and cook.
And then to the laundry.
You must be a psychiatrist also. You must be a cleaner.
Yes, why I get this, because as a black man, I get this from your perspective. As a black man.
Healthy black relationships. So manje ngilapha bro niyaphangela nobabini ne uqale wafika endlini cooks bro uyazithola I'm talking personal experience uyazithola uqale wafika endlini yapheka if there's something uyabo even mhlambi Koloway that is fixing you tried fixing it and then awakwazi then call me I might be able to help cause I'm more skilled than you at this particular thing uyabo i partnership layer I problem comes ke ngoku when Mbumba izinto ndizenzayo for wena uyabona both things that we do for each other then ezizenziwa ndim they seem like okay they're more important than ezizenziwa nguwe uyazithola uyabo like it could be anything uyabo because it's a relationship
historically
what I'm saying is trying to get to a healthy black relationship in 2021 uyabo we have to see each other equally. Because obviously in relationship you both have to do something. You don't just because you are the woman in the relationship you don't necessarily have to be the one who cooks. I love cooking. I will cook. I don't mind. But it's say no. To be honest, I hate washing dishes. It's not about
washing dishes.
Say basically a couple already.
No.
Ask you.
But the point ganguja, but now that's why I'm in Tetam about our context, relationships, that is not the realistic case.
Yeah, it's not your case. It's not.
That's what I want us to speak into. Because that environment, whether me and you want to admit it or not, is very oppressive towards women. You know, I want to know your whereabouts.
It's also been
why are you not replying to WhatsApp? Why am I fatigued?
This is why I'm happy tomorrow and I'm single.
You know?
He's single. All of this.
Now you got your answer.
All of this.
Guys, now you got your answer. There is no Mr. Cwaita Wenana.
Yo, guys.
He's so wanted.
Yo, ish.
I love.
I'm gonna set you up with someone. I think I know someone perfect.
Now why are you?
Yeah. I think I know someone.
But the problem is people he knows.
Yeah. I know.
I'm thinking like him, but
no, it's
I want a team player.
You're breaking my heart, mom.
I don't want Gojo to get emotional and cry. I want you to go back to your 18-year-old self. 18-year-old. In fact, on your birthday, if you can recall, on your 18th birthday, what advice would you give that little girl today? With everything that Chwaita today knows, what would you say to her?
Ooh, that is a deep question, and I'm getting emotional just thinking about it because I'm thinking about Chwaita when she was 18 and in high school.
Late.
And in Polish high school, guys.
You were still a kid.
I was still a kid, and I had no real convictions of myself and politics. I really grew up thinking that I was because I'm a twin, or actually I'm a triplet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
There's 3 times
what?
of her. There's 3 times of her.
Yo, so what Katani, you were triplet. Okay.
Yeah.
Brother,
and I grew up. We also listen because we triplet. That's what it means.
Like the brother is in the triplets.
Yeah, the brother is in the triplets.
You wonder.
The brother is in there.
You're like, yeah, we are the same age, but me and him are not the same age. The same age.
The patriarchy in this man. Moving right along.
Okay, Master.
I'm a triplet with a guy in the middle, but my sister is also in the mix. But I basically grew up, thinking, because my twins are light skinned. My sister has like like silk, no? See, soft around the half and all of that. That's why I love natural hair. Yeah. But I grew up not liking my hair because I couldn't get them, but they're like. Because relax. People would complain about my hair because like it couldn't be relaxed.
Fuck them.
Even I want to 18-year-old self.
This is advice.
Okay, 18-year-old.
But I'm trying to describe who 18-year-old
Okay.
So she grew up being compared. There was a time where my teacher compared me to my sister. And what to go more. Because I was a little bit rebellious also in high school. I was wearing dreadlocks when they were not allowing it. I was wearing e-pants when girls were wearing dune. I was just like a weird, awkward kid who was mingling with the gangsters, the clever kids, the slay queens, all of them. I was cool with
you were with them.
I was cool with everybody. But the thing is, my teacher was like, yo, your sister, my sister was like, subtle and I made no rules and she was clean because she had skirt on and she had slick hair and all of that. And so I really at that point hated my differences with my sister because for me it was the darker one, the uglier one. I really believe that. Because you guys were not checking out for me. They were like,
what are you talking about?
What do you mean?
What are you talking about?
You were not in my high school, Nguja.
Okay, I might not have been in your high school. Okay, man, too.
No, it was bad.
No, you got the people interested.
No, the thing is, guys would think of me as the homegirl. Like, I'm good enough to be the homegirl. But not enough to be the girlfriend.
Can I confess something? Can I confess something?
On camera.
On camera, nigga.
Right.
It's like Cwaita. Okay, high school.
Yeah, so in high school basically, like, I compared myself with my twin and my other twin because because people compared me to them and they use them as a standard of beauty and respectful and subliminal,
In hindsight, that must have sucked.
Yeah.
It was this one.
Yeah,
it did. I want to make an instance when my teacher was like, "Why are you not like your sister?"
Shit.
Oh, clean you.
No.
It was like I went to the bathroom and cried the whole break.
Yeah.
I was like, I really hated my differences with my twin triplets. And then, I grew out of high school and then rediscovered myself. And that's when I was like, dang, those differences, girl.
Damn.
You know?
That black hair is like a strong, because I really can't turn my black hair into anything. I can't make it look like white hair or whatever. So I accepted it.
Yeah, embraced it.
My Afro young, I did my dreads, my black skin, because my brother and sister was like light skin and all of that. So I really started to embrace myself, and as the differences that I hated in high school became the things that I loved. But why I was different from the crew, from the cryo. So they made me stand out, and
it was like a 180 because right?
But actually, because
I'm different, right?
Yeah.
And obviously like black consciousness, reading all of that. My political.
You read a lot. Like a whole fucking lot. Like, I thought I read a lot.
Like academic. Understand one thing, but like reading is my life.
I like books.
Yeah.
And it's because like I like spending time trying to think through ideas and like what they mean and where did I come from, and when I relate to abantu abanjeyana.
Before like I segue into something else, let's get back to the advice. So what would be the actual advice?
I would say that you are beautiful, like yourself, and that you are so capable of anything. Like literally, if you want to be anything in the world, you can do it. And the ideas that you are having right now are so valid. The dreams that you have are valid, and they are literally quoting Nqabayethu are worth your courage. Yes. The one and only.
Interesting story, I'll tell you later.
But story. Basically, yeah, man, like you should believe in yourself. Your differences are at what make you, and believe in yourself, and it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be.
I stressed out as a kid. I was like, are we like? Is the world gonna end? Like
constantly.
When's it gonna end? Like I had a meltdown in high school, but the world is gonna end, and like Kubi. Like I was in the dying phase.
Yeah.
I was gonna die.
Like definitely.
Because
so what I wanted to segue into what
advice would you give to your 18-year-old self?
I think we've had this discussion, me and you.
No, it was me who said something.
But the one advice I would give to my 18-year-old self is that like not everyone is your friend.
Okay,
like you see everybody around you who likes the fact that you're smart, you can do homework for everyone, you can do assignments for everyone, you can just sort shit out, you know? I know. But like here's the thing. Even in class, I was the kind of kid who could like hold down a debate against the whole class, including the teacher for the whole period.
Yep. I had
like
arguments with my teacher.
You're not gonna do Hitler like this. I know Hitler. We can discuss it. I was that kid. One. So I could say with that, the attention that you get from shit like that, the kind of people that like surround yourself with you from shit like that for the wrong reasons, because they think the shit you're doing is cool. You're doing it only because you think the teacher is misinforming everybody. That's why you're doing it. But the people that are watching you do it, I'm like, damn.
I inspired you.
So
that's
what I would say to me. That's what I would say to me. I would be like, dude, these people are not your friends, bro. They don't fuck with you. They're not gonna be there
when the shit hits the fan.
That's the one advice. So my segue. You just took me back to some shit now in my head.
Let's go.
I wanted in closing.
Are we closing now?
Dead or alive? Yeah, there's no more questions, bro. Do you have anything else?
Okay, go ahead, bro.
We discussed Philip, you can.
Did we discuss this?
What?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
she's
a writer. She's a writer. Yeah.
Dude, thank you. I was gonna do a huge injustice out here.
Come on. Can't be depriving abantu bafuna.
So a while back I read a review ka Chwaita on Ndlu. Shout out to Ndlu, shout out to Ndlu. Yeah, the national cast. The nation is the cast. Shout out to Khutman. So Ndlu put out his latest EP, The Substance, which you can find on all digital platforms, iTunes, Spotify, and all of that shit. So Chwaita did a review, bro. I went through this review. I've been through reviews, bro. I've done runs at Baxter, Joburg Theatre, and all of this shit. I've seen reviews, my nigga. I know what the reviews look like. Bro, I went through that review as a fan of Ndlu. It was like a timeline. That covers specific events and content, even throughout the timeline. I even said, Chwaita, I didn't know by Spilivan came out before Hard Livings. I had no clue about that. I didn't know, bro.
No, it was written from the perspective of a fan, just like that.
Bro, it was beautiful. It was so. I wanted to know. is it something you do? Is it something you do professionally? Is it something you're trying to do professionally? In fact, we're gonna put the link. We're gonna put the link to the review in the description. Just check out the description.
Check it out. Wow, okay. Thanks.
Check it out.
You are promoting me. Basically,
we have to.
I have always written as a young nerd kid. I was reading poetry. I was writing poetry. I was spending time in the library. And so I wrote a little bit, but like in my time as an academic like for AUCD for the past 4 years, I was just focused on academics and not creative writing. So when I came back, like after getting my honors degree at UCC, I was like, okay, you know what, maybe
yes. Record
nice.
2 degrees from the best university in Africa.
In Africa, Joe. 2. Yo, say
my dog.
Say.
Now we celebrate shit like that on this platform. We make sure
black excellence is appreciated and celebrated. Yo. Proof
But I want more.
Obviously, I got this.
Anyways, like I think UCT really taught me how to write academically and research and all of that. But I really forgot my like creative writing. So when I came back after my honors, I was like, let me think about what it is around me and what speaks to me as a person. So I actually started with a ghetto session piece. I wrote that ghetto sessions, if people don't know, it's like a space where creatives come together, like business. People are making wine, Kailich, they are producing.
What do you know about Kailich wines? I'll put you on. Okay. Not on ghetto sessions because I've never been. We should go because it's lit.
Let's go. Come on, bro.
We should go check it out. Take over. But I'll put you on to Kailich wines.
Yeah, so Usiana is like the creative director, and I had my first ghetto session experience in 2020. And basically, I wrote a piece reflecting about the space and what it gave me.
Okay.
And I was saying these are the lessons. This was startup 2020 and beyond. So I wrote a piece about that, and like he loved it, and everyone else who was inside that space. But I mean, he was like, "Wow, I also experienced Nyanga." So like maybe I still got it. Like I still
it's still happening, it's still popping.
I can still articulate the experiences about me in a way that is authentic and truthful and honest, but also creative. And then Ndlu's EP came out at a time where I was like at home and all of that. And then he actually came to our house because he was doing the door-to-door delivery. Which I think is like so humble. Like, don't come to us. You have to go to them.
And also, this is not an artist. What?
I'm a literal legend. We should have him on the show, by the way.
Yeah,
good man.
Definitely.
We need to have him on the show.
It's a Monday.
Yeah.
But he came to my house, and my mom was also there. And like before I even introduced him to Mwana was into
like essence.
And he walks in the room and he's got a presence. It's like guys and then he does poetry and he speaks to us as black people through music. My mom, did he not say perform? Guys is famous artist, like he is one of the most genuine and relevant rappers in Cape Town.
Truth.
But he's shy. He's shy. He's very shy. He was like and then he dropped bars and it was beautiful.
Like go in the living room.
In my living
room. What?
Okay, let's use that clip.
And
that's lit!
Yeah!
That's lit!
Yeah, like he's a really cool person because the review I gave it to him, I was like, I don't want to put out Indo Ngawi about your work without giving it to you. I respect you. And it was like, and then he sent me an email, I wish I could read it, but it was along the lines of, Chwaita, I'm grateful that you have put a mirror inside my work because I didn't know that the impact of this.
Yo,
I've done it.
Exactly.
If Mundu can see himself in my writing,
exactly. Nah, that piece was powerful. That piece was really powerful.
Yeah.
I felt it.
And then recently, so that was my last piece, my long piece. It was 5 pages, and then I wrote like a short tweet. There was like 3 sentences, but it was like about black pain and the 4 children who had been playing and were found dead. And it trended on Twitter. It was like 1,000 retweets, and I was like, basically
that's really
and people were like, no, it's because you were talking to the national crisis and you were talking about it in a way that's emotive.
Exactly.
That speaks to all of us,
Exactly.
not just like in any way research bound or political bound, but you are speaking to us as a band. And that made me think, you know what, I actually need to put my content together and find and so that you can find it somewhere, because Facebook
Write a book.
write a book.
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I've told you this.
Write a book.
To compartmentalize your content.
Exactly.
I want to
Put it into something. Nobody like different pieces. Compile into one thing, and then go to a publisher, do your thing.
Yeah, I'm a publisher. Come to me, let's talk.
Etc. Look, now Kolping.
He has said I'm a fan, so I think after this we'll talk.
Connections, come on.
Yeah, we definitely have the conversation.
Bro, masenzi Philippi like excitement to him.
So before we close, I got one more question. It's not really a question, but top of your head, Chwaita, top of your head, your top 5 African authors, dead or alive.
Why authors?
Number 5.
Why can't it be filmmakers? Or
Yeah, maybe we'll get there. Maybe we'll get there.
Or jazz artists. Authors.
Top 5. African specific. Number 5.
Ooh, it's funny because this year I've made it to be we read African literature here. I've joined a bookstock fair where we buy African literature.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
You guys should buy my book.
No, you join the bookstock fair because it's not money, right?
Oh.
And so when it's your turn, you have money so that they can get 10 books. But
shit, that's cool.
Too dope.
Put me on that. I want to be a part of something like that.
You have to sign up.
Where? Let me know.
On the bookstore page, but I joined that because I was like, I want to focus on reading African literature and actually buying it.
Sure.
Like, in a library, but it doesn't have a lot of African literature writers and thinkers. So I want to put that.
Okay.
So, in December, I was comfort reading. It actually, to be honest, I haven't read a lot of books like after university. Like I just took in time out of books. But again, with December, I read about 4 books. Maybe the 5 will come as a bonus.
Okay.
But Utsitsi Damabero called Nervous Conditions in Madiaki. It's a book of a lifetime. Talks about colonialism, patriarchy, but inside Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe. So she speaks about that in ways that are creative but also hard-hitting. Her first sentence in the book is saying, "I'm not sorry that my brother died." So it goes in deep detail about what patriarchy means and what Western education does to that. And I recommend that book to anybody.
It's a female, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's in Danaberia.
Okay, we'll have her name somewhere here. Okay. Yeah.
Important book to understand colonial.
Let's put the names in the descriptions. Please give them to me.
Yeah, definitely. It's a book. It's a good book to understand about colonialism, understand about Western education and patriarchy, and how different women respond to that patriarchy. And friendship inside the family. But I don't want to get into it.
That's number 5.
That's number 5. Okay.
Number 4.
And then I read Rape by Phumla Ngqola. So Phumla Ngqola is actually an academic in South Africa, Eastern Cape. And I think she's currently the Dean of Humanities in Forte.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure, I think she actually moved from that. But she has written like I think 4 books, Feminist Rogue, but I read Rape. And it's what we were talking about earlier on about GBV. And how it's an integral part of our society. But it's a way of talking about rape that is historical and political. She takes it back to the apartheid and how women were raped as a form of weapon, and how that has been justified and different themes around like how things have not changed from like.
Okay, so number 3. What's your number 3?
It would have to be The Cry of Winnie Mandela by Nqabayethu Mlaza. Basically, he's an academic that breaks all the rules for me in this book. He writes not in a category, like thinking of a category, but he writes what he thinks. You know?
You had just told us of our number 3 of your best authors in Africa, top 5, dead or alive. On number 2.
Dead or alive. Are we?
These are quotes.
Did I speak about Njabulu?
So, Wangupumla.
Yes.
Unjabulo. Now siku number 2.
Yeah, it's tough, it's difficult.
Yeah, it's a lot, man.
You will survive.
What a difficult. But I'd have to go with Uaikwe, who is from Ghana. He's a Ghanaian writer. And a political decolonial thinker.
Okay. I think I've read some of his stuff. I'm not sure. Definitely.
So he's read, I think, 5 or 6 books. I was introduced to him through KMT, which means like Africa in Egyptology. Yes, it's a mouthful, okay?
Isn't it weird that a country has a study? Like you can study Egyptology.
Yeah, but that's another whole.
But you were saying
that's another white man's.
I just find that weird.
But
you were saying
not there.
It was undermined, but anyway, for me, it's not just one book, right? It's the other books, like The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born.
That's a title.
Yeah.
Damn! Damn! That's lit! Yo, that's dope. I would click on that anyway. I would be like, yo.
But yeah, he basically speaks about corrupt politicians and how like beautiful, heroic ones are not yet born. It's so
idealists.
I love her book also, and like KMT and how he goes into Egypt and like the medicines and the sciences that are in Egypt, and he used characters to rediscover that. And also love. There's a love twist, but also a learning moment.
What's the name of the book?
It's like The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born. To talk about the corruption. People.
Okay, it's several books. Okay.
And then the KMT, which goes into Egypt. And the study of Egypt.
Okay.
So.
And then the other ones that I love about him.
No, we're talking about one book here.
Okay,
we need one book here.
I can say number 2.
Don't give us a breakdown.
Number 1, she won't be able to stop
I'll go to KMT.
KMT.
One of my top African authors. Like he challenges me, like he teaches me. And you're not just reading Indo's Azi, because a lot of the time it's like, just tell our stories. But he's like, I'm pushing you to think about this thing differently. He's like offering a new way. So with Ama, he's like the first author for me who like teaches me about revolutionary, emancipatory, liberation politics. One number, you don't have to sit in a class or read who speaks about ideology, but you can listen to stories to understand the concepts. Because now, when I listen to characters, I'm like, it's in black radical feminism. We like correct. So for me, he was the first author to do that for me in a way that's like creative, and like I understood my politics because of him, because he just pushes me further, not just writing because. We need to write our stories. So yeah, one of his books.
I should read that.
One of his books,
I need to read that. Number
one.
This is the best in Africa, dead or alive.
Guys, I feel this is an anti-black question. Because all of the blacks are like breeds. And all of the Africans, it's anti-African. Because I have to choose the number one.
Yeah. You trying to
It's like everybody's the best. But who's the best? Like,
who's the best?
Like best.
Can I say it's like
who's the
best in their own category?
Okay, so
because I gave you different reasons.
Okay, but for all of them, we gave them. You assigned numbers to all of them. So who do you assign the number one?
That's why I'm like, I hear you.
Yeah, the hierarchy, but let's go into it.
You accepted it.
I have been currently actually listening to a podcast called the Chicken Natives. So it's about it's a South African podcast that talks about books.
We should check
so
that
it's like yours in literature. So we'll talk about this book and we'll talk about these authors. And so I was listening to one of the podcasts that was about collective amnesia. If no one knows the collective amnesia. Yes, you are down with the culture. So Nkululeko Putuma wrote a book called Collective Amnesia, which was about like black people in South Africa and how the experience of the condition of blackness.
That's a literature masterpiece.
Bruh, and the way she went, it's not just about like the content. The content is like mind-blowing. She talks about how I don't want to die with my hands up and my legs open, right? Like she talks about how
like defenseless. Like I am not trying to die defenseless, not knowing how.
She goes into deep, dark like topics.
You ever seen her perform?
People.
You ever seen her perform poetry?
Makala, bruh.
Sure.
It makes patriarchs
cry. No? So you were telling us about the collective amnesia as your number one book. Nkululeko Putuma, shout out to Coco, come a long way, beautiful Jenny. I know her as a poet, and the book was beautiful, and her poetry is jaw-dropping, bro. Literally jaw-dropping. Inkosi Chwaita for coming out tonight. Yeah, I know it's been a couple of hours. It's been a couple of hours. It's been a couple of hours, but Inkosi Kakhulu, we appreciate it. To whoever has the endurance to watch the whole episode, shout out to you.
You are we legends.
If you don't,
you are the realest.
But if you don't, if you don't have the endurance. If you don't have the endurance, we'll chop it down in parts, and then you can enjoy it in parts. You can find Chwaita on social media. Details is I can Naz.
Cwaita Wenana, Cwaita Wenana. Okay, that was another episode of Urban Talks. Man, siyabulela by uJoyina Tina ne, and also siyabulela to Indlovukazi uba namhlanje ibe lapha nathi ike nje isifundise ngezinto sithethe into ezibakubone sikwazi uhleka sikwazi ukuthetha into ezibhadlileyo uyabona sikwazi ufunda uyabona amazing.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
No, I just want to thank you guys for creating the platform to allow us to reflect, because I haven't talked about Lando or myself in this way. I take media interviews, but it's not about the creation of work. I think and so I think you're creating a really beautiful and rare platform, and I want to thank you for inviting me to be a part of it. And I'm really glad that I came and I had so much fun.
Appreciate it. This is Urban Talks, another episode. Qamata.